Yabelo lafe. Akijira eta lama. Taraboma eta kana maulana. Mona bariera kapalibe. Yabelo lafe.
Semuna, bueno, one in my se segatala yore ina yore femmane gimberi base mali yo mali kere mali yo wa fala boka be mali kere mali yo mali kere mali yo wa fala boka be mali kere asemuna bayana wani maya
Ujamaa, cooperative economics, to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. For today's principle, Ujamaa, cooperative economics, I'll be reading from The Art and Science of Respect by James Prince. I was already deep into my own entrepreneurial ventures by then. My mowing business was steady. I fixed mini bike engines and sold eggs. Within the city of Houston, it's illegal to have chickens, so I'd already had to move my operation a few times from my auntie's house to my grandmother's house. I sold eggs for $1 a dozen. People liked buying eggs from me because they were fresh. They'd still be warm sometimes. Some of my biggest customers were my neighbors. All the money I made back then, I'd spend it on mini bikes. A mini bike is kind of like a go-kart or motorcycle. It has a motor in it, but it's not as powerful as a dirt bike. I learned how to build them from fixing lawnmowers because they use the same type of Briggs & Stratton engine. After my bicycle was stolen, I took a motor from a lawnmower edger, added a clutch, and had a mini bike. That's how I ended up with another side hustle, fixing mini bike engines. Even while I was playing, I was always looking for opportunities to make money. I still remember the day my Aunt Teddy's lights were cut off. We were living in an apartment in the 3rd ward at the time, right above hers. She was talking with my mother in our living room with tears in her eyes, at a loss for what to do. When everyone around you is strapped as you are, it's hard to keep the faith and hope that things will get better. But my Aunt Teddy did. While my sister and cousins played, I listened to their conversation. Teddy noticed me watching and declared to my mother I was a peculiar child. God loves us all, but he has chosen one, she said. It would be years before I understood what the word peculiar meant, but I knew what it meant to be chosen. Without a word, I went to my bedroom and returned with $19 to get Aunt Teddy's lights turned back on. My desire to contribute transformed my impoverished life. I couldn't live every day watching my loved ones suffer. They were part of me. Their tears were my tears. They couldn't see a path out of the bondage of poverty, but I could. And I knew that I would have to lead them. Greetings, everyone, and Bargani. Welcome to Kwanzaa Forever. We're going to be discussing this lovely Kwanzaa setup that we have here. This is a traditional Kwanzaa setup, and you'll find that all Kwanzaa tables pretty much have the same elements. So we'll start with the first one, which is the mkeka. It's a straw mat upon which the kinara, which is the candle holder, sits. And inside the kinara, we have the mishuma saba, which are the 7 candles representing the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. And so the way that we light these candles is we start with umoja, which is the black candle in the middle on the first day of Kwanzaa. And then we go through all of the days, alternating between red and green, starting with the outermost candle and then moving in until we get to imani, which is the last candle, which would be the green candle on the right. We also have our mazao. You'll notice we have a large basket of fruit. The mazao are the crops, and they represent the wealth of our community. We also, you'll see next to the mazao, have a kikombe cha umoja, which is the unity cup. Typically, the unity cup can be used to pour libation or share drink among family and community as part of a Kwanzaa celebration. Also, on a typical Kwanzaa table in a house with children, we would have the ears of corn, and the ears of corn would correspond to the number of children in the family. Because this is a general Kwanzaa setup, we have a table here. It's sort of a public space. We don't have any children who are in this particular household, but if we were in a home, we would have a corresponding number of ears of corn that would match the children in the household. And finally, we have the zawadi. The zawadi are the gifts. And typically gifts during Kwanzaa are homemade or handmade. As you can see, this little giraffe follows suit with that, or books and educational materials that will be given to our children and members of the family. So happy Kwanzaa, and we invite you to enjoy our program.
Akwaba, welcome back. Habar Ghani to our Kwanzaa Forever program. I want to thank everybody who's tuned in with us so far for our umoja, for our Kujichagulia, and for our Ujamaa. Today is the fourth day of Kwanzaa, and we are talking about Ujamaa, cooperative economics. Now, for those of you who may have already joined us for one of the previous sessions, you have an idea for how this is going to work and how this is going to flow. But for those of you who this is your first time, I welcome you. Today, we are talking about cooperative economics, and I wanted to do that in a very real way, where we actually show you how we're engaged in cooperative economics currently. So how we're instilling this principle in our daily lives, and how this particular principle actually helps us to, or how this particular principle is instilled in our daily lives, and how it's become an action and not just a principle and something to talk about. So many of you who may know me or follow the Adinkra group may know that we were one of the co-architects of the Year of Return in Ghana. And that happened after we brought the Backyard Band in 2018, and that kind of led to the Year of Return. We'll talk more about that in some detail a little later. But since the Year of Return 2019, one of the things that I've been doing here in Ghana is working with a small community called Nyame Bechede. Nyame Bechede is a community that I was introduced to on my first trip to Ghana in 2014 with my teacher, Nana Yao Yorinchi. Nana Yorinchi is the chief priest of the Akan Order and the Nana Surgery Shrine of the Nana Akonidi Shrine in Larte. And I came to Ghana in 2014 with him for my first time to complete my training as an Akamfo, which is a traditional Akan priest. Some people don't know that about me. I don't do a whole bunch of that about everything. So anyway, many of you also may be familiar with my involvement in the Year of Return and tourism, being one of the co-architects in terms of presenting the idea and working on the steering committee for the Year of Return throughout 2019. And since then, COVID hit. Obviously, early this year, we all know what happened. So when COVID hit and I happened to be in Ghana and I was in the village and just in my own talk and in my own research, I took an interest into farming. So most of my year, this year, 2020, has been spent studying and learning farming, learning a little bit about agriculture in Ghana. And I took an interest to cocoa farming. I took an interest to cocoa farming, number one, because I saw an opportunity. It was an opportunity because I saw that it could be profitable. And beyond being profitable, there was an opportunity to help the community I'm involved in. So sometime also last year, I was bestowed the honor of being asked to become Nkosuohene. Nkosuohene is the chief of development of this community, Nyame Bechede in Ghana. They saw me coming back and forth a lot, year after year, always bringing groups. They saw that we established a commitment to the community, and we're currently building a library next to the school in Nyame Bechede. So when they asked me to be in Nkosuohene, I accepted. I accepted under one condition, and that condition was that my job as Nkosuohene was not something that I would do for them. Meaning I'm not here to just bring money, and I'm not here to just give the community things at once, but I agreed to become Nkosuohene as long as a community, we would work together and figure out ways to develop the community. And over the course of the year, I want to thank everybody who donated. When COVID hit, I put out a call. We raised about $5,000 really quickly. We fed the entire community, put water buckets, soap, bought face masks, hand sanitizer. We distributed that throughout the whole community. So one of my jobs as Nkosuohene, as the chief of development, is to try to figure out how do I bring development to the community. So over the course of the summer, we did a survey of the town. So we've collected a full database of everybody that's in Nyame Bechede, name, age, household, gender, educational level. And then what we found out was that most of the people in the community are farmers. They farm for their profession. So we believe in community development from the inside out. That means that no outsider should come in and say, this is what you all should be doing. But maybe they just need somebody with a different thought pattern to come in and say, well, let's help the community do what it already does better. Let's make sure that the community has some level of ownership over exactly what development looks like to the community. So I met with all of the Elders Council, of which I'm a participant now, which is crazy. growing up and actually being a part of the Elders Council in Ghana, West Africa, Nyame Bechede, and having, to sit in elders meetings and to hear cases and things like that. But I met with the elders, I met with all of the women in the community, and I met with the young men. And I asked them questions about what they thought development looked like to them and what are things that they wanted to see in their community. And what I realized is that in order for community development to happen in a very real way, where the community maintains some type of ownership, then there has to be an economic center or base in that community that earns money for the community, that employs people in the community, and then that allows the people in the community who are now employed to invest in the community, invest in other businesses. And cocoa farming happened to be something that I saw was, again, an opportunity and something that was profitable, something that I could do as a business that would also help individuals in the community. So we've started that process. And today we're going to talk to Nana Borfe, who's the land owner, the land tenant, and my uncle pretty much, who I stay with, my teacher, Nana Yao's brother. He's going to talk to us a little bit about the traditional land tenant system and the amount of acres of land that they have there. And then we're also going to have a conversation with Mr. Abegna Asante, who is the Cocoa Extension Officer for Nankase Cocoa District, which Nyame Bechede is a part of. So I'm going to let them explain to you exactly what it is that we are doing. I'm going to let them talk to you about how it works. I'm going to let them talk to you about why cocoa is so valuable. And we're also going to show you some pictures of our farm that's there. So what we've decided to do is, in our research for cocoa, we saw that there were three main reasons why cocoa farms didn't reach their maximum yield: farm management, pesticide and disease control, and then swollen shoot disease, which is something that affects different trees. So in my research, I noticed and I found all of these things that the cocoa district offers. And so I started having conversations with different cooperatives, and I'm asking, well, how many of you have, went and talked to the cocoa district? Like, have y'all met with the officers, et cetera, et cetera? So, and I realized that most of the farmers are smallhold farmers. So they might farm 1 or 2 hectares of land, and really 1 hectare of land, which is about 2.5 acres. So I came in, I said, okay, I found out a lot there. Again, I did my research. There's still a lot to learn. I did some research and I decided, okay, well, I believe that I have a potential solution to these 3 main issues. So I put that together in a document. I began to meet with the farmers in the community. So right now we've already started to farm 10 acres. We've cleared the land for 10 acres and we'll start planting during the planting season in January. I'm going to schedule another call later where I get into, when I talk a little bit more about cocoa farming, some of the details and et cetera, et cetera. But for now, we want you just to check this out, pay attention, and think cooperative economics. At the end of the interview, I'll come back and I'll talk to you a little bit more about what our call to action is for you, for anybody that wants to be involved, or for anybody that wants to understand more about cooperative economics and how we're using cocoa for that community here in Ghana, as well as our community in DC. It's a very profitable business, and it's a way for you to actually do well for yourself and do well for community. So without further ado, check it out. I'll be back later at the end. Peace.
Adinkra Asante is my name, the District Cocoa Officer of Nankase District.
I'm Diana Sewa Amo, a Community Extension Officer for Nankase Cocoa District.
Well, my name is Lawrence Frimpong, Cocoa Extension Officer for Cooperative North.
Yes. My district, Nankase Cocoa District, is made up of 6 municipalities with an estimated number of 15,000 farmers, both male and female. The cocoa covers over 6,000 hectares. My work is such that I have a lot of extension guys working with me, but yet I take and I attach much importance to when people come in to do large-scale farming. That's how you see me here. We are here to first ascertain whether the land he intends investing in is suitable for the crop cocoa. And per our visit and what we have seen, we have no doubt that he is doing the right thing. That one, the land is really suitable for cocoa. The soil profile done so far is an indicative. The vegetation, as you can see in my hand, we have chromolina and other shrubs, very good plants, indicating that the soil is rich and good for cocoa. As you can see from my left, there is already established cocoa farm, and we're also standing by a plantain doing well. All give to support our assertion that Diallo really has chosen a good land for the investment cocoa. So I think whoever intends or whoever wishes to invest in this project, I can assure you that you will have a good day. Yes, this will not be the only time we'll be coming. Since you are here, we'll be with him through to the end, because cocoa is Ghana and Ghana is cocoa, and that is our main duty. And we are here to ensure that this investment really go to the full haul. So welcome to Nankese Cocoa District.
So, you ready? All right. So, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Welcome, Diallo.
Thank you so much for joining me here today.
You're welcome.
Please introduce yourselves.
My name is Adinkra, the District Cocoa Officer in Nankese Cocoa District in the Eastern Region, Ghana Cocoa.
I'm also an Nabo of a chief, a warrior chief in a Kropong, but I stay at Nyamebeche where my ancestral lands are. And it's there that I met Diallo.
Okay, so if you can, just talk to me a little bit about, for you, Mr. Asante, what your primary role is with the Cocoa District, and what do you do at Nankese?
Nankese Cocoa District is one of the 70 cocoa districts of Cocoa Health and Extension Division, a subsidiary of Ghana Cocoa Board. Talking about my role, I am the head of the district, having 5 departments under me: surveys, human resource, extension, disease treatment, replanting, and resolution. So I see to the day-to-day running of all these departments and report to the regional office and onward to the head office appropriately.
And Nana Bofe, tell us a little bit about your ancestral lands, Yame Bechede, and your experience in farming.
Okay. Yes, the Akan community, they believe in farming. And so my ancestors bought about 600 acres of land to use it in cocoa farming some 200 years ago. So these lands, anyone who is a chief becomes the overall supervisor of it and give it out for farming so that they can get money for the family in terms of managing the stool that is under me. But what has happened is that I came to the stool for about 14, 15 years now. But unfortunately, I've not been able to get people to work on it until I met Nana Diallo, who is also the Nkosuohene of Nyamebeche. He showed the interest in doing the cocoa farm. So I've given him about 300 acres to be able to farm. All what the family will need from it is just a little bit of money for me to be able to do the stool every year, and also to give some small handouts to the family members to keep them moving. So I think this, for me, is a very, very good project.
Ghana Cocoa Board, the regulator of Ghana Cocoa, and its farmers has this slogan: Ghana will respond cocoa, cocoa, Ghana, signifying how important cocoa is to Ghana. In that, cocoa contributes not less than 30% of Ghana's foreign exchange. So it tells you how substantial cocoa's contribution is to the Ghana's economy. Hence, the slogan, Ghana, cocoa, cocoa, Ghana. So you mentioned cocoa and you are mentioning Ghana because without cocoa, our city goes into shambles. Anytime the syndicated loan arrives, Ghana city is stabilized.
Yeah.
So you know how important cocoa is to Ghana as a whole.
Nana Bofe.
Yeah, I think from my ancestors, they have been doing cocoa for years. That's why they bought that big land. And I know that all their places they stay in Ekropong, the buildings that are there were built from cocoa money. Even now, the youth, we cannot build, but they were able to build a lot. That's why I want to revive the cocoa industry in my family. Yeah.
Okay, so today we are celebrating the Kwanzaa principle, Ujamaa, which means cooperative economics. And sharecropping has been something that's a part of the African American tradition for years. And it really helped African Americans find their way out of slavery into freedom and progression. Talk to me a little bit about what is the traditional process for sharecropping in Ghana? I know both of them.
Yeah, I think the idea of sharecropping, as you're saying, for me, is what we call Nobwa system in Ghana, where people form groups and work for each other by visiting farms to be able to help plant the farms of various members within the group. And with our own traditional Nobwa system, we are able to make big farms for each individual. And it helps a lot because they cooperate in terms of working together. They cooperate in terms of getting loans from banks because they are more comfortable. The banks are more comfortable to be able to give loans to cooperatives based on guaranteed cooperatives for them to be able to pay off the loans. So I think our Nobwa system helps a lot in terms of economics and in terms of helping each other within the family.
Thank you. Mr. Asante,
Yes.
for an outside investor who is interested in investing in cocoa, can you talk a little bit about how the sharecropping and sharing system works when the person doing the farming isn't the owner of the land?
All right. Sharecropping has come into being due to the land tenure system we have in Ghana. Lands in Ghana are mostly owned by families and chiefs of the various communities. So if individual or an investor wants to go into cocoa farming, whereby he would need a large tract of land, then the individual will have to see family heads or chiefs, then enter into some kind of agreement and partnership. That is where the issue of sharecropping comes in. So I own the land, you have the other resources, money and the labor to put the land into useful venture. Then we go into agreement. You use the resource to produce. When the venture we are into is ripe, we have two systems we do here in Ghana. Either we do 2 equal parts sharing, which we call abunu, or we share into 3 parts called abusa. So in some jurisdictions, we have the abunu system whereby we share the farm plantation into 2. The owner and me as an investor, so that each of us will have a part of the farm. The other thing we do, the opposite is that we do the sharecropping when harvesting is done. So these are the kind of 2 sharecropping system we have. Either we share the produce or we share the farm into 2 equal parts or into 3 equal parts. And as I said, it's basically due to the land tenure system we have in Ghana.
Gotcha. And for both of you, in my research, I saw that Ghana, over the last few years, was about 10% short in meeting its cocoa receipts, meaning more people wanted to purchase cocoa than Ghana had to produce. And this is where I saw an opportunity and a gap to help fill that with regards to cocoa. If both of you could give me your opinion on what are some of the challenges with farming cocoa in Ghana?
I take it. Yes, it is true that Ghana has a gap in terms of producing to meet its demand. In that, the challenges are enormous. One of it, and major one, of course, is the land tenure system. Sometimes the processes leading to land acquisition become so cumbersome. So that is one. Another issue will have to do with labor. Ghana currently has average age of cocoa farmer to be 55 years, meaning the able-bodied, the youth who are to help in farming is not interested in farming, leaving cocoa farming in the hands of the aged. So labor is an issue. 3, the climate change is impacting every part of the world, and Ghana is receiving its fair share. So we got into a time, if we really want to meet demand, we'll have to switch into irrigation, which Cocoa Board is putting steps in place. And in fact, as I speak, piloting of irrigation farmers started all over Ghana. So this and many other things are the causes of this gap cocoa Ghana has in terms of its cocoa production.
And Nana Bofe, as a farmer and somebody who owns land, what are some of the challenges that you faced in terms of producing your maximum yield with cocoa? Just a few.
Yeah, I think I side with Mr. Sante, because almost all the things that he said about challenges, I've also been able to come across them, especially in terms of youth employment in Ghana. It appeared from my own experience in Cooperative, the land tenure system is such that it is not attractive to the youth. So what I have done is to deal with the Abusa system, where I make sure that 2/3 of the produce gets to the youth to make it attractive for them. More so with working in partnership with Diallo, I think I have made it plain to him that getting to about 300 acres of land, if I can get just 1/3 of it for my family, they will be very happy, so that he can also get some to make sure he's able to overcome the cost of investment into it. So I am making things easy for the farmer to be on my land, so that I can be able to get enough money to help my family. So that is what I can say about the challenges and how I'm able to confront them to attract more youth and more investors to come and help.
Good. So we know that 2019 was the year of return, and it brought many, many, many people to Ghana, many potential investors to Ghana, and many people who was either their first time in Ghana or they returned to Ghana. And again, today we're celebrating the principle of Ujamaa, cooperative economics. How big of an impact do you think it could make if some of those same people who came to Ghana for the year of return invested in cocoa?
The year of return has really had impact, and it will have a great impact if these returnees will turn their attention also into agriculture, and especially into cocoa. In that, cocoa farming in Ghana is an intensive business in terms of finance. So you can't do any meaningful cocoa farming if you are not well with that. So if some of these returnees, whom I believe are well with that in terms of finance, will turn their attention into cocoa production, labor, although it's difficult sometimes, but with good incentives in place, we can always get them. Irrigation, as I said, Cocoa Board is putting the measures in place. So now the returnees come with their investment in terms of finance, meaning the platform is set for good business to take place in Ghana.
For me, I think the year of return and looking beyond it is that these African Americans were taken from here. And if they had been with us, I think we would have shared our lands and everything with them. So behind my mind, I need their technology. So I'm ready to share all the lands that I have. And they would also bring in the technology to be able to produce the maximum yield on an acre of land. So I think I'm looking beyond the year of return, where a lot of them will come and see some of my partnership ideas that I have with some of them. And it's, for me, working. It's not that I need so much money, but it's that all my lands will be full of cocoa for us to benefit in the future. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Asante, the question for you is, talk a little bit more about your role as the director of Nkosuohene when it comes to supporting farmers, farmer cooperatives, and actually how, let me change the question. So, understanding cooperative economics, talk a little bit about the assistance that the Cocoa Board gives to farmers and how that helps them to save money in the inputs that you provide that a farmer would normally have to provide.
All right. Cocoa Board, and for that matter, my division chair has a mission or a vision to provide, one, planting materials to farmers. Two, every other agrochemical input farmers need. Cocoa Board provides that. So we have a whole directorate called CODAPEC, Cocoa Disease and Pest Control. A whole directorate Cocoa Board has just to see to control pests and disease in cocoa farm at no cost to a farmer. Cocoa Board has also a system or extension system in place where improved technologies are transferred to farmers at no cost. Cocoa Board is leaving the path of farmers forming cooperatives. And as we speak, in the year 2019, Cocoa Board launched no less than 500 farmer cooperatives in cocoa. Now, Cocoa Board is putting in place what we call cocoa management system, whereby Cocoa Board is bringing every farmer in terms of their data, biodata, and everything they do into a system, whereby farmers will no longer be handling physical cash. Every 10 of them will be on a card, like a smart card, where that's what they'll be using in every transaction they do. Meaning we are going high tech. So Cocoa Board, as a regulator, is doing everything possible to cut down the cost of a farmer, so much so that entering into cocoa farming, the returns to the farmer is as high as you can think of.
Okay. Now, if each one of you, starting with you, Nana Boyfriend, if you can, not necessarily appeal, but just say again very clearly your commitment to the Adinkra group, to myself, for people who are interested in participating in cooperative economics, right, through the cocoa farm, and tell me what impact will that have on the immediate community of Nyame Bechede?
Yeah, to be very frank, what I see of the package that the Cocoa Services or Cocoa Board is giving to us, it appears virtually they give free services that make sure it makes the farmer cost-free. So I'm asking the Adinkra group and all people who want to come to Ghana is to make sure they get piece of land with proper documentation from the chiefs. And the lesser, then they will have a lot of low investment into the business, because Cocoa Board is taking almost everything. All that he needs is a commitment and how to get people on the land to work for them. All the other things are also free. So I want them to invest in it. Another thing I want also to tell you is that, yes, you need some money for the farming. So even if within the farming people they work with, they can raise some kind of developmental loan for them, because the farmer would want to build a house to stay in. He would have to get a small vehicle to be able to transform the vehicle. I think once the cocoa farming gets to the highest point, they will make a lot of money and be able to pay back the money through the cooperative system. I have been with the National Cooperative for some time as the General Secretary. And I think if the concept is really brought down for people to understand, farmers will benefit from it and make sure they are able to get all the requirements to make them their livelihood a better place to live in Ghana. So I think I want more people to invest in the farming because of the benefits.
So, and also talk about the immediate impact to Nyame Bechede. And what is the immediate impact of a successful 300-acre cocoa farm to Nyame Bechede?
You see, I started this some 25 years ago, but as a Ghanaian, people don't respect the ideas that I was. But once Diallo came around, they know he has the ideas and he has the money to invest. And so almost most of the youth are getting closer to be able to get involved in the farming of cocoa. When he calls them, the way he's down to earth, a lot of people want to listen to him. to what he's saying. So with that kind of trust people are building in him, I think more and more of them will get money out of cocoa, and more people in the village will really invest in the cocoa business.
So Nyame Betchere is a community of about 1,200 people.
Yes.
When we successfully begin the 300 cocoa acre farm, give me an idea of how that community will change.
Yeah. Changing the community will mean developmental projects coming down, for more education, for more people to see that they are working to make money. So I believe with government policies of education, once they have money in their pockets, they can be able to do a lot of projects like good schools, like good markets where people are able to trade in whatever they want to trade in. They will be able to do almost everything that is a social need to them. And once these things are accomplished, I think the livelihood of the people will be raised, and Nyame Betchere will be a modern village that has almost well educated youth, and people also doing a lot of income generating work, and be able to have happiness in the place.
Okay.
With this cocoa project.
Mr. Asante, provide for us some raw data on the number of farmers, the number of families, and just some data on the Nankase Cocoa District and its relationship or percentage of all of cocoa in Ghana.
Thank you very much. Nankase Cocoa District has estimated number of 15,000 farmers. I know the average household in Ghana is made up of 5. So meaning 15,000 plus 5, we are talking about 75,000, about 75,000 people. And depending on cocoa only in Nankase district. And as I said, Cocoa has 70 districts. So if Nankase is given 75,000, or as a dependent on cocoa industry, 75 times 70, we are talking about huge numbers. In terms of the farm economics, to be able to clear, in terms of weeding, to clear an acre in a day, we need 5 man days. What it means is, if we should put 5 people on an acre of land, they need to clear in a day. So if you are working on 300 acres and you want to clear that in a day, we are talking about 5 times 300.
So that's 1,500 people who are employed.
Yeah.
So the cocoa industry has a high propensity of generating employment, putting money into pockets, bringing down social vices and what have you. Nankase alone, with our campaign launch, is estimating to contribute not less than 22,000 metric tons to Ghana's cocoa. And the ton of cocoa as we speak now is over $2,000. It tells you the contribution of Nankase Cocoa District. Over $2,500 times 22,000 tells you how much it is. So this is a huge economy, a niche of a huge economy, and every investor has the prospect of making it big, even here in Nankase Cocoa District, looking at the few statistics I've provided. So the prospect is there, because land is available, labor, yes, is available, because Nankase Cocoa District is made up of 6 political municipalities. A huge area. It's a very huge area. Land, arable land is still available. We still have water. Rainfall is so favorable. As at December 23rd, yesterday, we had a heavy rainfall, and we still have prospect of getting more entering into January, making our district the most favorable area in terms of cocoa production in Eastern region and for that matter in Ghana. Investors and prospective investors will never lose out on anything they put in.
So you and I had a conversation, and I remember the look on your face. I showed you a video of an agricultural drone, and I asked you, what impact would having one of these agricultural drones have on the farming? I want you to just talk a little bit about that.
Now, cocoa production in Ghana has a number of issues, but major among them is pest and disease control. Currently, as I said, Cocoa has a directorate called Cooperative in charge of controlling pests and disease using human efforts. The aim of the directorate is to be able to spray every cocoa tree everywhere in Ghana in order to get rid of diseases and pests. But the human effort is not able to do this. Cooperative is to provide at least 3 sprays to a farmer and the farmer to complement it. We expect no less than 6 sprays in a year. But with the human efforts, the maximum we can do is just once. But with drones coming on board, in a matter of 20 minutes, a whole of our cocoa area in Nankasi operational area here will be sprayed. Meaning that, in fact, the mass spraying cocoa board is fighting to achieve will be achieved under or with introduction of economic drone. Because I believe in no certain terms that it will work as faster and as efficient than any human effort. I am saying authority that Cocoa Board has been in place, the Codapec has been in place since the year 2000. So for over 20 years, Cocoa Board has been fighting to achieve mass spraying, meaning every cocoa tree will be sprayed no less than 6 times in a year. That has never happened. And I believe without doubt that with agronomic drone on board, this will be achieved in less than days. Yes. And I am here by calling for whoever has the wherewithal to invest into this, because that will break us through, and the headache of pest and disease control will be gone with the introduction of drones.
Okay. Last question. The president often talks about Ghana Beyond Aid and this principle of Kwanzaa, Ujamaa, cooperative economics. What do you think the impact could be on all of Ghana, not just agriculture, but on all of Ghana, if Ghanaian farmers and other Ghanaian businessmen and women worked with Black people throughout the global diaspora under this idea of cooperative economics? I'll let Nana Oborse go. Because Nana, I know you've dealt with microfinancing and other business things in Ghana. So, you know, if you think about Ghana Beyond Aid and what that means and cooperative economics, what impact could it have on Ghana and the world if Africans in Ghana and other African countries and Africans in the diaspora took this idea of cooperative economics very seriously?
The impact for me would be huge, in the sense that being in a cooperative society, one of the pillars of making it grow is to constantly educate them on the cooperative idea. And once people get to know the idea of cooperatives and they work together under an economic enhancement of their businesses, I think it will be a huge impact. I really worked with Susus Cooperatives some time back as the General Secretary, which even took me to Italy, Torino, to be able to learn about cooperatives in a society. And when we came back, we had a great impact on the society because we were setting up cooperatives under so many economic systems. And people understood it and they worked together. But what made me so happy, because this was a World Bank sponsored program on Susus activity. Susus is just working in the number system. They funded us in setting cooperatives and making sure that we made people understood it. But at times in Ghana, what happens is that the educative aspect of most of the things that will help us economically is relaxed. But we need strong leaders, especially government should take up this idea and fund all institutions to be able to work on the cooperative idea. And when this is done, the impact will be huge in terms of economic returns.
Mr. Asante,
Yes.
how does this idea of cooperative economics through cocoa change Ghana for good?
Cooperating means I have a trust in you, have a trust in me. Therefore, I hold nothing back. Every resource is available to me, I make it available to us. You do the same. Meaning, if once there exists inequities, now with trust, we are burdening ourselves. All resources are going to be made available and equity will prevail. Meaning that the poor will be brought at par. The underprivileged will also have now resources available to them. And with trust, everything we set out to do, we are able to achieve that. So what Ghana Beyond Aid is preaching is whatever we need is within. So all hands are welcome on board. All brains and ideas, all monies are to come on board. So that as you have this idea you bring over, I have the strength to make it work. So that the wealth comes and is distributed fairly among everybody. In that case, we are doing away poverty amongst us. And that is my belief. And cocoa has a highest potential to do this. Now, why am I saying so? Our work has shown that if we are able to do and maintain a farm well with 400 trees, and a tree is able to give us only 60 pods in a year, that 400 tree is to give us 12 bags, translating into 7,600 cedis among 400 trees. And in my district, Nankesi Cocoa District, the average farm size is 0.75, which is having over 1,200 trees. So this is translating into what? 7,600 times 3. So once this kind of equity exists, and cocoa alone is bringing these resources on board, poverty will be at another person.
So you said that your campaign is to get 60 pods per tree.
A minimum.
Minimum. But what is the maximum number of pods per tree?
Naturally, a cocoa tree has a capacity to produce up to 250 pods. Naturally, what I mean is giving the cocoa the necessary care without artificial pollination, the cocoa on its own can produce 250 pods. And you need about 1,500 pods to make a bag. So if a cocoa is giving me 250 pods, then I need how many to get 1,500? 6 trees. 6 trees. Now, the natural condition I'm talking about may not exist because of other factors. So, as managers of cocoa system, we introduce pruning, we introduce artificial pollination, we introduce fertilization. So once we are able to do this, here in Ghana, as we speak, with artificial pollination fertilization, a tree is able to produce up to 8,800 pods. That is what we are talking about today.
So those numbers you mentioned for 60 pods a tree, if you can produce even 250, you've multiplied it by 4. But if you can produce 1,800, you've multiplied it by more than 10, by more than almost 15, 16 times. And your office job is to help farmers reach the maximum number of pods per tree.
Exactly. That is our duty, to aid farmers to attain the highest yield by providing them with the technology, the needed information, the good planting material, ensuring that they do the activities in the correct times. We help train them in artificial pollination. Cocoa Board is now subsidizing fertilizer for farmers, and a bag of fertilizer on the open market costs 180 cedis. Cocoa Board gives to the farmer at 80 cedis. And even when the fertilizer gets to the cooperatives, Cocoa Board sells to the cooperative at 60 cedis. So the cooperatives make a profit there with the sales of once a farmer is paying 80 cedis to the cooperative, cooperative is paying 60 cedis to Cocoa Board. So the cooperative is also making some money there. So the dynamics with the cocoa industry has every highest potential I can think of to bring liberation in terms of the economics to every home. And cocoa has the key to lead this chat.
Okay. This time, final words. So each of you can just, this will be the exit. Just give your final words or appeal to the people with regards to cocoa and the idea of cooperative economics. Nana?
Yeah, I think at this juncture in Ghana, where there are a lot of incentives from the Cocoa Board, where cocoa farming has no cost to the farmer, I'm inviting all people who want to invest, especially African Americans who want to settle in Ghana after the year of return, to come into the cocoa farming business in terms of enhancing its cooperative concept idea, because it's out of this cooperative that a lot can be had from cocoa farm. I think if you come in, see the chiefs, let them give you the land, but the chiefs have the land and the families have the land. And when you get it, they should keep on making sure they have all the necessary documentations to guarantee that nobody from the family comes and make them uncomfortable. If this is done, I'm telling you, within the next 4 years of staying in Ghana, they become millionaires and help us economy to develop. Thank you.
All right. Among parts, commercial cocoa farming started in Ghana in 1879. Quite some time now. We are not there where we want to be yet because the system is still made up of a lot of human effort. Most of the activities are done with human effort, which I think wouldn't and will never allow us get there. Technology abounds out there. So I'm inviting the investor out there to come on board to introduce technology into cocoa. Because with that, we can really get to the promised land and everybody will be free, everybody will be okay because the farmer will be happier. And if you are a banker somewhere richer, you also be free, peace, you have your peace and everything because nobody will be knocking your door begging. So I am calling for investing to come to introduce technology into cocoa production. Because cocoa production has the key to bring every economic freedom you can think of. Those are my words. Thank you.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do now. Mr. Asante, I'm going to have you to reintroduce yourself, and you're just going to say, my name is Edwin Asante. I am the cocoa district from Nankase. You want to say, my name is Edwin Asante. I'm the cocoa district from Nankase, and I'm happy to be partnering with Diallo and the Adinkra group on cooperative economics through cocoa. And then Nana, I'll have you do the same thing. Okay.
My name is Abednego Asante, the district cocoa officer, Nankase district. I work for Cocoa Health and Extension Division of Ghana Cocoa Board. Currently, I'm in partnership with Diallo and his group, partnering to promote cocoa production in Yamibeche. And it is in Yamibeche because the potential is there and cocoa production has the key to bring every needed development that community needs to every perspective. And everywhere, meaning individual and investor, is welcome on board. Thank you.
I am.
Hold on, Nana.
I am Nana Abofre, a warrior chief in the Cooperative Traditional Council. I'm partnering with Diallo and the Adinkra group, and I believe this partnership will bring about fairness in the cocoa business. And we invite all other interested members of the group to come to Ghana because the cocoa industry is pregnant with a lot of successes for the future. Thank you very much.
Welcome back again. I hope y'all enjoyed that video. I work very closely with Nana Aborfe and Mr. Asante, as you can see. I hope you're inspired. And just think about Ujamaa cooperative economics in a number of ways. Even if you are not interested in investing or cooperative economics at a cocoa farm in Ghana and you're in the US, think about things that you can do in your own community that's connected to cooperative economics. You heard Nana Aborfe mention Susus, and I'm a part of a few Susus back home in the US. The Susus are simple community savings accounts. These community savings accounts don't always have to be used to take money out. Susus work very simple, and I'll explain it. Let's say you have 6 people, and these 6 people decide that they're all going to put in $500 a month. If 6 people puts in $500 a month, how much money is that at the end of the month? That's $3,000. Now, that $3,000 at the end of each month, you can randomly select a list of each of those 6 people who put the money in. And at the end of the month, one person takes the full pot. At the end of the next month, one person takes the full pot. And you do that for 6 months. So everybody who put money in you get the money out, right? Now, that's a community savings account. That's cooperative economics. That is a way for individuals to support each other directly with each other without going to a bank. People also use Susus for investment clubs. It's the same thing. Everybody puts in the same amount of money every month, every week, or bi-weekly, then you get that total. And a lot of times with investment clubs, what happens is you take that total and you invest it into a stock, or you take that total and you invest it into something else. Well, what we're going to be offering very specifically to certain community members and to people who are interested and want to have a conversation with us about it is how you can use Susus to invest in cocoa cooperatives and farms in Ghana to help us do that there. Our process is really simple. For the next 2 years, we'll be farming these 10 acres. Over the course of these next 2 years, farming the 10 acres, we're collecting data down to the farmer level, down to the day and time it was planted, down to the weather of that day. And then we'll be monitoring this data in connection with the Nankase Cocoa District over the next 2 years. If our hypothesis is correct, and we believe that we've created a system that will allow for better farm management, that will allow for better disease and pest control, then after those 2 years, we're going to scale up to 300 acres. And that's just in Yame Betchede. We have 2 or 3 other communities that we've identified that if our hypothesis is correct and we believe we can reach maximum yield at the end of each farm season when it's time to harvest with this cocoa, then we'll take that 300 acres that we've started with in Yame Betchede, and then we're going to move to another community and another community. We have 2 or 3 other communities that we're already working with that we've identified the farmers. So that's pretty much what it is that we're doing. It's cooperative economics in action. And we want everybody to not only be able to hold the Nguza Saba and the principles close to heart, but we want to be able to begin to put those things in action. So one of the things we wanted to do with Ujamaa Cooperative Economics, which happens to be my favorite current principle right now, because I think cooperative economics is probably one of the things we need the most to help get us out of certain situations and help give us a certain level of freedom where now we have the ability to choose if we want to stay in America, if we want to go to Africa, if we want to move to the Caribbean. Then we have figured out a way to bring more income. There's a quote that I love that says, money isn't everything, but it's up there with breathing. And I've heard people say money is the root of all evil and all of this other stuff, but I don't really know, and I haven't figured out, unless somebody else can tell me, a way to get things done in the world without money resources, right? It doesn't always have to be cash, but some kind of resources, some kind of financial resources. And I think that's important for us as African people, as Black people, that we don't run away from that. So yes, so if you signed up for our email list, we'll be in touch with you very soon about how you can get involved with what we're doing in cocoa in Ghana. And we want you to make sure that you stay tuned, because tomorrow we're going to be talking about NIA, purpose. And we're also going to be talking about NIA purpose in a very different way than we've done the previous 3 days with interviews. We're actually going to talk about NIA in action with one of our partners, African Ancestry. So make sure you tune in tomorrow to NIA to check us out as we celebrate in this Kwanzaa Forever program. This is our first annual program. Please make sure you continue to give us feedback. We're going to improve on it, and we're going to have more Kwanzaa events where we're actually talking about the principles in action throughout the year. So again, sign up on the Kwanzaa Forever. That's Kwanzaa, the number 4, EVA.com. Sign up on that website. It's a project of the Adinkra group. And yeah, we got the Nguza Saba cracking. Thank y'all so much for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow for NIA. Peace out. Ujamaa. Ujamaa.